All right, everyone. Hey, thanks so much for attending this jam session today. For those of you who haven't been on a jam session yet, hey, Kelly, I want to let you know how they work, okay? So the jam session is made so that you can stay in momentum. I'm going to talk about a specific topic for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to actually put in the work, okay? So it's not about me talking about something and then having it be theory. I want you to learn about it and then actually do the work right while we're here together. So that way that over the course of the next 50 weeks, over the course of 12 months, you're literally moving the needle, right? Advancing the ball down the field, and you're going to get the results that you're looking for. Hey, Beth. Hey, Joe. Okay, so here's what we need to talk about first. And I keep going through this with everyone, and I have to repeat it a lot of times, but everybody is in a big rush to get results now, today, yesterday. Everybody wants it fast and quick, and I don't know. I think that's just part of our culture. We've come to think that that's a possibility, but what we really need to have to understand is that we're in this for the long game, right? We're trying to build out a system that's going to produce consistent results for us over time. There isn't anything that any of us has ever done where we got instant gratification, right? It was always something where we put in the time to learn it and to work on it and be willing to fail and learn from the failure. So all of this is a mindset that you have to embrace. You're not going to get a quick fix. If you're in it for a quick fix, then, the movie Aladdin's out. You can go rub the lamp and hopefully a genie comes out. I've never had that happen before. So instead I try to choose to do it a different way and just create a system that I can rely on. All right. So here's what I want to do first. I want to start out with this. The hardest part about promoting yourself online is to get away from the thought process that you're selling a thing, right? You're not selling a product or you're not selling a service, or at least if that's your approach, you're not going to get very far. Instead, what you have to do is you have to shift into a mindset where you are literally building a culture, you're building a following, you're building a movement. That is how you get masses of people to follow you and to recognize your value online. We don't have the luxury of being able to meet with somebody face-to-face all of the time where we can use our natural abilities to build rapport. So instead, what we have to do is we have to build a system that will allow us to build that culture online. So here are the three things that you really must master, right? Here's the three things that happen in any great movement. First of all, you have to have a charismatic leader or an attractive character in your story. Okay, so think about any great movement in history. It could be whether you choose Gandhi or Jesus or Martin Luther King or anything like that. You always have this charismatic leader. There's some unique, special quality about them, and they literally draw your attention to them. I mean, they just have something about them that is, I'll say, electric or magnetic. There's something about them. So the same holds true when you see anybody in today's society that is an influencer, right? If they're an influencer, they have this special quality about them that draws your attention to that person. So you must become that attractive character or charismatic character in your story, right? So the whole sales process that we're talking about so far has nothing to do with a thing. It has to do with you, right? Being that person and understanding that you need to become that person. Number two, you have to have a cause, right? You have to have a cause because the person that's going to consume your thing, right? They have to believe that you can give them the outcome that they're looking for. So it has to be a cause or an outcome. And that is what you're selling. And it's not the product or the service. It's not the vehicle. The vehicle is how you get them there. It's the cause or the outcome that's going to they're going to identify with, that they're going to follow you. Okay. So most people have a fear or a frustration or a desire. It's something that they desperately want, that they're looking for. And you need to show them how your thing, right? This fundamental cause that you have is something that you can use to get them the outcome that they want. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense so far. And then the last thing is is you can't do what everybody else does. And this is the problem most of us have in business is we just keep repeating the same things that other people are doing. You're a commodity. You're not any different than anybody else, right? You have a product, this person has a product. You both have the same product, at least in the customer's eyes, and now you battle over price, right? So you can't have that. What you have to have instead is you have to have a new opportunity, something that's different, something that's unique, that somebody can look at and say, oh, okay, the reason I wasn't able to get the outcome I wanted before is because I did that stuff, the stuff that everybody else does. Here's a new way, a new opportunity that's going to get me to where I want to go. So once you understand that, charismatic leader, you have to have a cause, and then you have to have a new opportunity or a vehicle in order to get them to where you want them to go, okay? Drop me a comment and let me know if everybody gets that so far. We're good with that? And it doesn't matter what business you're in. I do not care what business you're in. It's all the same. Okay, cool. Everybody's got that so far. All right, good. All right, let's move on to next. Hey, Mike. All right, so next. Where are we going to go from here? The next thing we have to understand is that we have to be very clear in our own mind how we're going to get our customer, client, member from where they are now to where they want to be. They have to cross the bridge, right? From where they are now to where they want to be, and what's the gap, and how are we going to get them there? And this is what we call our value ladder. So here's what happens. Over time, we need to be able to continually increase the value and serve that person where they are, and then take them up the next step of the ladder until they get to the outcome that where they want to be. So in this case, we're talking about business. So that means as time goes by, my value has to go up, and also the price that I can charge for something can also go up depending on the level of service of where my customer is. So what I want to do is I actually want to share with you a couple of examples right now. So let me, I'm going to stop sharing my screen just for a second. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to build out your, value ladder while we're online together. But first, I want to show you a couple of examples, all right? All right, so here's the first example. This first example is actually ClickFunnels, okay? This is the ClickFunnels ladder. And I wanted to show you this one specifically because this is basically how I started working with them. So the ClickFunnels is the tool that I use, okay, in order to do what I do online. So I want to kind of show you what happened. There's a little bit of jumping around you can do, but you can see over time of how it works. So the first thing that they do is they start you out with a free group. They want to make you a part of their community, right? Because Russell Brunson works with people like Tony Robbins, and he works with Robert Kiyosaki. He works with Dean Graziosi. He works with Marcus Lemonis from The Profit. He works with Grant Cardone. He works with all of these types of people. But the thing is you don't care about that. All you know is, okay, that's cool. Obviously, he's successful, but I don't get this. So how am I going to understand what this is, and why is this important to me, and why in the world would I drop $1,000 or $25,000 with this group? You have no idea. So the first thing that they do is they will try to make you part of their community. So for example, here's a group, and you can actually join their ClickFunnels official group, and you can kind of be in with the masses, and you start to see the chatter that goes on back and forth, and you can see how many people are in it. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, there must be something to this. That's exactly what I was thinking. In my own business, I was thinking, okay, I need to find a system that's going to allow me to grow and scale. So I need to find people that will help me do this that I can identify with. So that was a good starting point. So now the next thing that on the value ladder is they actually have a couple of multiple things that you can do. But the first thing that they'll do is they'll allow you to start a free trial, right? So you can actually experience it, work with it for 14 days. And of course, during that time, they're bombing you with emails and all kinds of goodies. So you can kind of learn a little bit more about this. The other thing they have is they have this thing called the OFA, which is the One Funnel Away Challenge. This is something that they added more recently because they were having issues with their onboarding process, getting new people up to speed really quickly on how to use funnels. So the One Funnel Away Challenge is a 30-day thing where they put their top coaches on it, and every day you're literally like working on it, just like this. You're literally working on everything that has to do with funnels. and they charge $100 for this thing. But basically, it's a low-end starting point with ClickFunnels, and then their hope is that you're then going to ascend to the next level. Now, for me, where I actually ascended is I actually learned a little bit about ClickFunnels in the group, and then what I did is I went right here to Funnel Hacking Live. Funnel Hacking Live was in Orlando a couple of years ago, and that was a live event. So they charged $1,000 for a ticket to go to this thing. So I decided, okay, well, you know, I need to find a system that's going to work, so I'm going to go to Funnel Hacking Live and I'm going to learn more about this thing. So I kind of jumped to that. I actually went to Funnel Hacking Live before I actually signed up for ClickFunnels. So the next step on their ladder was Two Comma Club. And this is where I kind of jumped in right here. And Two Comma Club was basically 12 months of coaching. And the price tag on this has gone up a little bit. They charge $2,500 a month, or you can pay it in one shot of $25,000. So that was the next level that's there. And this is basically to help someone get to 7 figures, okay? So 7 figures or $1 million, right? This is where, this is what this is for. The next step up their ladder is their inner circle. Now, inner circle, this is where you're 7 figures plus. You hit $1 million inside of a funnel, and now you're going to go to their inner circle, and now they're going to try to take you from 7 figures to 8 figures. So you can see they're charging more over time. But the thing is if they've helped you get to one level, you're pretty darn confident that they're going to be able to help you get to another level. So that's why you keep ascending the ladder. And then here's the crazy one. Here's the one at the top. This is category kings. These are people that are top, have done basically 8 figures and now completely dominate the market. I mean, they're the ones who just rule the internet world, right? So these people up in here are very, very close to Russell. They're paying $250K in order to get close to him. So you're going to have people in this group where you're rubbing elbows with, the Tony Robbinses and people like that of the world, right? Up here in that level. Okay. So that's ClickFunnels. Now let me show you another one, and then one more, and then we'll go to the next. All right. So I just had a conversation with one of my other newer clients, Dr. Callie. Okay. And Dr. Callie was trying to figure out what her funnel would look like. Now, she works with people in the recovery and addiction space, okay? So I started to build this out with her, and I said, okay, right now she had a bunch of courses, and they were all on a website, right? So she had all these different things that somebody could buy or opt into. It was just, to me, it looked like a diner menu. There was just so many options, had no idea what to choose from. She's spending a lot of time, putting out fires, going from here to there. So what I had said to her is I said, listen, what we need to do here is you need to simplify everything, and you need a very clear path on how you are going to help someone. So in this case, what she actually wanted to talk about was how did she help somebody become a recovery coach, right? How do you actually coach other people with addictions? So this is what her actual value ladder is built on. So the same thing, we started out here with a free group. And then what I said to her is I said, okay, listen, what we need to do here is after they join the free group, the next thing is obviously is you can't just let anybody coach people with an addiction like that. They're going to need to get certified. So I said, how much does that cost? So she told me, which is this price here, right? So that is actually the next step on the ladder. So then I said, okay, well, that's great. So once they get certified, that's great. But how are they going to be successful? Well, the next step on her ladder would then become this. So I suggested that she create an 8-week program that's like a business builder. It's basically the foundation and fundamentals around how do you actually build a coaching business? How does that work? So she's going to have this 8-week course here. And then the next thing is once they've had 8 weeks to nail it, right? They understand the foundation and fundamentals. The next thing is they have to scale it. So it's going to be one of these two things. And what I had said to her, I said, you can provide a couple of different options. One, you can do a group option. Why a group option? Well, for some people, price point is going to be an issue. And for other people, it might just be that they're do-it-yourself type people. But you also have people that are your super achievers and they want one-on-one attention. They're completely all in. So you're going to give them that option. So with the group option, I suggested a price point somewhere around there. And then the one-on-one, I suggested a price point around there. So you can see that if she wants to help somebody become a recovery addiction coach, there's a very, very clear path on how to be able to get there. All right. So let's shift over. I'm going to do one more. And I'm going to go into a martial arts value ladder. Okay, so here's the thing. One of the things that I see so much, especially in the martial arts industry, is that people are indeed selling programs. They're selling karate, taekwondo, Krav Maga, jiu-jitsu, summer camps, after school. There's so many things going on, it's hard to stay sane, right? And what I've learned over the years is that for the most part, the reason people have added all these layers on is because they thought that it would either help them produce more income, or they thought that they weren't attracting enough people to their core program. So what they did is they decided to add on another program and another program because they figured, oh, well, maybe I'll grab some people from other markets that are interested. But generally what happens is when you start adding on all of these layers of products and services, is you don't get really good at any of them. And it's very, very difficult to grow and scale $1 million company that way, because your attention is divided. You have to have certain staff that deals with that. You have to have multiple ads over here running for this and running for that. And you've got all of these plates. I mean, you're literally spinning the basketball here, then you start another one, then you start another one, then you start another one. This one falls down. You got to pick it up, start spinning it again, and you're just literally out of your mind. I mean, it's so crazy. So the question that I always ask everybody is, I said, listen, if you had 1,000 people in your core program, would you have added those other things? And usually the answer is no, right? Usually they're like, well, if I had enough people doing the thing that I actually love to do and I could just do one thing, that's what I would do. So this is where I want to lay this out, because my buddy Craig has a martial arts school, obviously. And for those of you who know me, right, he's got a martial arts school, and everything is pretty much one thing. He's got one program, one path, and his goal is to provide an atmosphere for families, for kids and adults, to provide them this atmosphere, because he really believes that if somebody goes through his program, achieving the goal of black belt is literally going to change their life. Now, Craig and I came from Syracuse, New York together, and we were fortunate enough to train in martial arts together as well, and we came up through the same school. So this is kind of like, this path is like so super simple, and I just wanted to kind of share this with you so it starts to make sense. So the first thing is if we're trying to attract people, we can do a couple things. We could either start out with a free group, right, like what we talked about here, or you could start out with something like a free book. So Craig, for example, has a free book that he has for kids. He has a free book he has for adults. Now, most of you are going to say, Bill, I don't want to write a book. That's way too hard, way too much work. Okay, cool. So if that's you, starting a free group is even easier. All it is an opportunity for somebody to come in and check out what you got going on without making any kind of commitment to start with. Okay, easy enough. Next thing is what's the next step? Well, the next step is for somebody to take an introductory lesson. So in this case, they could take an introductory lesson, for example, for $19.99, 2 lessons for $19.99 as an example. An order form bump, which is kind of a cool thing, is an opportunity to get the parent involved, right? So if the intro is for the kid, the $10 bump is for the adult. Hey, mom and dad, we know that the kids that do the best in our program are ones that have their parents that are very involved. We call them very involved parent. So we'd like to have you participate in the introductory program right from the very beginning. And that way you can practice the skills that, that Billy learned during the class today, and he'll be much more confident when he comes to the class. You can add yourself. It's only $10. Would you like to do that? Yes or no? Right? That alone will trigger an opportunity for you to increase your sales, right? Because now you've got an opportunity to enroll a family and not just one person. And then the last thing is this $100 coupon. This is going to set up this next step in the ladder. So the next step in the ladder, and if you remember this right, I said you have to have an attractive character, right? Or a charismatic leader or attractive character. But the next thing is you have to have a cause or a specific outcome that you can get someone. So in this case, let's say the specific outcome is, Billy is being bullied. Well, Billy is being bullied. I'm not going to offer Billy a bunch of different programs because that's not going to solve the outcome, the problem. What I need to do is I need to relate how my program is going to solve this problem. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce a 12-week confidence course to mom and dad. And I say, mom and dad, listen, in order for us to solve this problem, right, we're going to have to spend some time with him, right, to develop his strength, to develop some skills, to change the body of truth. I mean, literally the way he thinks, and give him confidence over time. And literally you're going to see this happen. So what we do is we recommend that we start him out with a very short-term type of a program, because the goal of becoming a black belt is a long-term commitment, right? You're talking about anywhere from 3 to 10 years, depending on the individual, right? So we just want to start him out with 12 weeks or 3 months, and this will give him the foundations and fundamentals he needs so that he can stick up for himself, and you'll feel less stress, less anxiety, and less pain over this situation that he's having in school. Is that what you want? And they say, yes, it is. So, okay, great. Total cost of our 12-week confidence course is $495, but I did give you a coupon for $100, so you can go ahead and apply that today, and it'll only be $395. So I didn't focus in on how many days per week somebody's going to come in. I didn't focus in on length of contracts. I didn't go into any of that gobbledygook. I stayed focused on the outcome that they were looking for, and then the vehicle that we get them there with is our 12-week confidence course. Now from there, once they're seeing tremendous value in this, right? Literally 12 weeks later, Billy gets his yellow belt. He sees this, he has this increase in his confidence, and he's just literally making a transformation. Well, of course, the next thing is, okay, it's one thing to learn a few techniques, and you've started learning some things. Now what you have to do is you need to turn this into a lifestyle, right? In order to become an expert at anything, you have to do repetition, and it becomes part of who you are. So literally, if you want Billy to become that young, confident, young man that you want him to become, this is going to be about conditioning. You have to provide him the right environment. You have to, you got to give him the support along the way. So that would be the next value up the ladder. And then the last one over here is something that I went through, and it's basically SWAT training program. And this is where you literally have the opportunity to become a future instructor, or their other option here is, by the time somebody's been with you 3 to 5 years, you're going to have to introduce something new, right, to keep the excitement level high. So, for example, at that point, you might offer different layers of training or something different along the way. But it's not, hey, let's do a smattering of everything along the way. It's, let's follow this one path, and then once we get there, then I'll give you the next level, right, of training. So now you've got your monthly income coming in. It's about $200 a month. And there is one last one here that I want to show you guys, and this is the executive. And there are people like this, and some of you may not think that this is possible, but that's really a matter of your thinking about money, not other people's thinking. There are people who really like the executive experience. I'm going to give you an example. When I first moved to South Florida, I went to this place called Impact Training Center. I wanted to get in really good shape because I had gotten out of shape. And I signed up at this place where they trained one-on-one, and they gave you 8 sessions a month. And if you didn't use them, you lose them, right? That's basically how it was. They wanted commitment. They wanted people there that were serious about success, and it was one-on-one, and they whipped you into shape. I got to train with this kid named Kyle. What was his last name? Smith, maybe? I don't know. He went on to become a pitcher for the Kansas City Royals. I got to train with this kid. And I got to train with some other people that were like going to, they were going to be in D1 sports in college, and some of them even going to the pros. That was an executive type atmosphere that I wanted for myself. So this is also possible. So here's what I want to break down. You want to make $1 million business. It's basically $80,000 a month. All right. So let's just say you go back to here. Your goal then is if you have an average value of $200, well, you basically need 400 people doing that to make 80K a month. So you don't need a bunch of different things. You just need to get really clear on your one thing and get 400 people that believe in you as the charismatic leader and the outcome that you can give them, and then the vehicle that you're going to use to get them there. And I would say that 99% of you on the line right now, if you could simplify your entire business, regardless of what business it is, and you could get 80 grand a month coming in with one thing, how many of you guys, drop me a comment right now, you would be out of your mind, super excited to be able to simplify your life, to be very clear on what it is that you offer someone, and to have everyone there doing business with you that understands the outcome, so you can have more meaning behind what you do instead of just selling a thing, and have the freedom to do what you want, right? That is the thing. That's what we're looking at, right? Okay, cool. So Mike's on the line with us right now. Mike's somebody I just met last week. Super cool guy. So the one thing, this is the hard thing, that in that movie City Slickers, right? That was the one thing that Curly said. You have to figure out what your one thing is. What's your magic? What's the God-given talents you were given where you can literally change somebody's life? What's that thing? And if you can figure out what that one thing is, and then you can produce a value ladder to take them from where they are now to where they want to be, now you've got a business. And you should feel amazing about your business because that's what you do. So my value ladder, for example, it's really cool. It's so easy for me to do because it's literally like where I was before and where I wanted to be. And now all I have to do is anybody that works with me, I'm just basically sharing with you how I did it. And I said, okay, well, this is what I did first, and now I did this, and now I do this. Yep. Did I fail? Yep. Did I fall on my face? Yep. Did I cry? Yep. Did I punch the wall? Yep. I did all those things, right? Because it's something that takes time. It's not something that's just magically happened. But for those of you who come with batteries included and you have perseverance and you're just the kind of person who is just too stubborn to lose, you will win. It's just a matter of time before you piece it all together. Okay. Now, here comes the fun part. Right now, yep. Okay. So so Douglas says, I know my one thing, but it's extremely niche. And each sale is high level, but what you're saying is invaluable. Yeah. Okay. Well, Doug, I already know your story. So the thing is that I can piece together this whole thing for you. I kind of already did that before and make this work for you in 2 seconds. I mean, your problem that you have is that you don't have anybody who can sell your thing because they don't understand it. But the thing is I actually do understand now what it is. And you don't need somebody else. You just need a system to be able to create value in your customers' eyes. And it's all about how you present it to them to take them to where they want to be. That's another really good example. And I'm glad he actually brought this up. And I'm just going to scribble up here. I'm going to change the color. There are a lot of ways, guys, to get to 8 figures. So for example, if you have a $100,000 product like Douglas does, right? You have a 100K thing. Well, guess what? You only need 8 sales, right? Or sorry, you need how many sales? You need 10 sales in the whole year, right? Let me get my, where's my eraser? There it is. Come on, pen, right? You only need 10 sales a year in order to make $1 million, right? So your value ladder may change. It may not be stepped up like that, or it may not look like a couple of the examples that I've shown, but you can still create a value ladder. All you're doing is you're working with a higher ticket type of a thing. Phil is chiming in, he's saying, as you're aware, mine is not a high ticket item, right? So instead, if you have a lower ticket item, now you're talking about volume, and that's okay too. Because with volume, you have a lower barrier, right, for somebody to say yes to your thing. Russell Brunson, right, his book funnel, or Tony Robbins' funnel for that matter, right? All of those book funnels start with a free plus shipping offer where the book is free, you just pay for shipping and handling it. Oh, guess what? If you want the audio version of the thing because it's more convenient for you, that's a $20 order bump. Oh, guess what? If you're really interested in that, I also have a course that'll take you through the whole thing, right? And you can get instant access to that, and that's only $297, right? So there are these different ladders depending on what you're doing, and all it is just adjusting. But the concept and the philosophy of the whole thing is exactly the same. There is no difference between this, and that's my job with you guys, is to make sure I help you through that so you get the result that you're looking for, okay? But the first thing that I'm gonna say is you need to start over and figure out who you are as the charismatic leader or attractive character in your story. You need to figure out what your cause is, and then you need to build your value ladder to deliver the outcome from the cause that you're created. That is what's gonna get you home, okay? That is what's gonna get you home. And once you understand that you have this particular outcome that you're trying to get someone to, now you have to really take a hard look at your business and you go, wait a minute, do I really have a clear path that my customer can understand? And do I have a clear path on how I'm gonna get them there? Have I gotten off the track, and have I just started throwing stuff on the wall to seeing if something sticks? And as soon as you really get clear with that yourself, now you can start peeling off the layers and you can start simplifying your business and getting it back. And I will tell you, once that happens, that is when your income is gonna go up and your stress level is gonna go down. And the amount of time that you have to put into this thing is going to be very different because you're going to spend more time working on your business instead of in your business. All right, cool. All right, so here's the thing. In the jam session, the idea behind this thing is for you guys to build your own value ladder, okay? So what I want to do is I want to have you guys take 5 minutes right now, okay? Literally, I want you to take 5 minutes right now, and I want you to try to build out your ladder. Most of you are probably already doing it. Most of you probably have already started building this thing. So I want you to go ahead and just start roughing it out. And then if you want to share it with me, you can share the value ladder with me. You can email it to me, and I'll take a look at it, and I'll see if I can kind of help you get things in place. And then after I'll open up, after you guys do that, I'll open up for Q&A. By the way, I am going to drop in a link to my calendar, okay? If you want to set up a time for a little 15-minute chat or something like that to see how I can help you get to the next level or to clarify some things in your head, there's the link and you can schedule something in. I am going to be out of town late next week. I've got to go to LA for a thing out there. But Friday the 17th to the 20th, I think I'll be gone for that. But other than that, you can book in. So go ahead, spend a little bit of time on that, and then I will. I'm going to stop the recording now, and then I'm going to open up for Q&A.